everyone, comic book reviewer here, this time reviewing on the Jetsons DC comic review. Now, as you know, back in the 2010s, Hanna-Barbera properties like Scooby-Doo, Snagglepuss, Wacky Racers, and the Jetsons had a more adult-themed adaptations based on their old shows from the 60s and all that. And I know Velma was trying to be like something like that, but not knowing what it really wanted to be. So I think we all know what the Jetsons were. They were a family that were from the future that had George Jetson, Judy, Jane, Elroy, Astro, and Rosie living their sort of day-to-day life in the future. Since this is a more different take on it, it's going to be a bit different. So it gives the introduction to this version of the Jetsons living in a more sort of utopia-like world above what once was civilization. And we are introduced to the family, and we kind of see how, George Jetson is doing construction work and all that, and maintenance, with Mr. Spacely giving him a hard time. And we see how Rosie helps basically Judy get ready for a party. Now, in this continuity, Rosie isn't just a robot, but is meant to be George Jetson's mum, who had her consciousness transferred to a robotic body. And we see how, Jane is pretty much getting ready to do her next conference. And we see Elroy and his friend Lake getting ready to kind of find Elroy a birthday gift for his dad, and pretty much get their special suits on and manage to head through to what was civilization. And I kind of like the idea, as it does remind me a bit of the film Waterworld, as well as the one with basically the whole robot boy thing. And we see how they journey it through, looking for some special blueprints for George Jetson. And we see how Elroy and Lake manage to find it and manage to get back to the ship just in time before kind of the suits wearing off. And after making it through, we see how Jane Jetson gives her sort of space lecture about a meteorite that hits civilization, and keep in mind due to things like pollution, global warming, and the polar ice caps melting, what remained of civilization took up to space, and the potential meteorite might one day go further into the Earth, destroying it. But we see how, some of civilization managed to pull through, and now live among what once was civilization. So we kind of see how, students give their thoughts on it. We kind of see how they know that if they come clean about this, it will cause widespread panic. But we see how Jane tries to reassure them they will find another solution. So we kind of see how, George Jetson's fast asleep. Rosie kind of drags her son pretty much into the kind of shower and kind of gets things ready and saying, "Yep, that's did the trick. Freshen up in there and meet me in the kitchen. I prepared you a nice breakfast to get you dry started." And we do kind of see how, George Jetson talks to his mum, saying that how, she coped with her robotic body. And I think what I like about this scene with George and Rosie here, this isn't him asking Rosie, not as a robot, but also asking as a son to a parent. And you can tell Rosie knows that these changes were going to happen. And I like that, Rosie is meant to be the mum of George Jetson, and it's just her wanting to make a choice that did become more beneficial to her. And even talking about the preparation she even made and stuff. So we do see how, George Jetson gets ready for work. And after leaving to kind of get ready, we see how, Rosie wakes up her granddaughter, Judy, and talks about kind of preparing her father's birthday and wanting her to kind of make the sort of preparations. And we see how, yeah, on the space station, we see how Jane is talking to the bartender about getting a drink, and talking with George Jetson, and yeah, about everything that's been going on. So we kind of see how, yeah, the meteorite that struck Earth years ago is basically ended up kind of bending down slightly more, and causing a bit more of a unstable push. And we know it's eventually going to lead into a bigger storyline. So, yeah, this is the story. So I think this take on the Jetsons isn't a bad idea. Again, I think if it was updated for a more mature audience, I would like to see George Jetson as a kind of down-on-earth guy, Rosie kind of still being a sort of mum who had her consciousness transferred to a robot. I think it could work, and I think what Velma was trying to be was a more Scooby-Doo version of Riverdale, pointing out overused tropes. I think what the Jetsons could be is like this down-and-out family still living the day-to-day life in the future, and kind of having the kind of balance with technology and futurific things in a sort of post kind of polluted world. It would work a bit more. So I think the story still deserves a thumbs up. It's enjoyable, it's an interesting take, but we all know these stories are better than what I think Velma tried to do. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.